Welcome back to Cooking with Craig. Today we're going to do steamed buns called pizza man. The original recipe for this, telling you both, came from Kitchen Princess Bamboo. Akino-san, arigatou gozaimasu. This is a slight alteration of her recipe because she's really good at what she does. And she does some things that I tried to replicate, I can't do. So I figured what I would do is come up with alternates, like easier methods than she shows on her stuff. But the basic recipe itself, how we're going to make everything, is the same, just some techniques that we're going to do when we're making preparation. So here we've got the stand mixer. You don't need a stand mixer. You can do this with a hand mixer. You can do this by hand. You don't need it, but if you have the tools, why not use them? Also, over on this side, we have the stove with the hot water, and we have the bamboo steamer. So this, I think it was like 30 bucks on Amazon. Comes with the liner papers as well. So we'll be using that. Very simple. So we're gonna throw in 250 grams of all-purpose flour, right like that, ka-woof. And I'm gonna save that bowl for later, for the filling part. And we're also gonna put in there 12 grams of sugar, 3 grams of salt. This is 3 grams of paprika. It's just for color or a little bit of flavor enhancement. You don't have to put this in, and actually I don't have paprika, so this is actually chili powder. Same thing, it's a peppery powder. You can put it in there or not, your choice. 3 grams of baking powder. So we're gonna give that a little mix with the old stand mixer, just low. I'm gonna tell you because we're farther away. So while that's mixing, we're gonna add in the yeast, which is that's down to low. We're gonna open the little door and drop in the yeast. Now while that's going, we're gonna add 150 mils of water. It's like lukewarm water. It's not warm, it's not cold. Just gonna drizzle in a little bit of water at a time. I mean, you should be able to see some of that. Just mix them low. There's no need to go crazy on this. But again, go to her channel, Kitchen Princess Bamboo, on YouTube. I think it's all one word, Kitchen Princess Bamboo, one word. Then we go there. So many Japanese recipes. She speaks English. The recipes are all done in English for you, so you don't have to worry about, oh, it's going to be in Japanese, I won't be able to understand it. You know, it's all in English. She's just a very accomplished chef. Just adding water gradually, letting it all work together. And that is all of the water in. Get your spatula, turn it off, lift it up and just sort of shove everything into the middle there. So you can see it's a little bit, some of it's clumping on there. We don't want that, we want it all to blend up. So there we go. Okay, now that it's pretty much combined, it's getting a bit of a shaggy dough. I'm going to speed it up a bit. Close the lid, just because. Give it a little bit more energy. And we're going to pause, because that's going to go on for 5 minutes. So it has been 5 minutes. Silence. So now, one of the more difficult parts. We need to combine 12 grams of vegetable oil with this dough. This dough does not want to have 12 grams of vegetable oil combined with it. And so we're gonna just pour a little bit at a time in there. I'm gonna put it into the middle, make a well, and then I'm gonna wrap it up. Try and trap it all in there. And then work it in to the inside. You can put it in there if you want. It won't work very well. It'll just coat the outside and then it'll start whipping the dough around in circles. It doesn't help anybody. You basically need to do the oil mixing by hand. Trying to get it all nice and oiled up. Start pushing it through. And 12 grams doesn't seem like a lot until you're doing this part. Then it seems, geez, that's a lot of oil to get in there, making it so greasy. It won't be in the end. It'll all blend through. It'll be just perfect. We're going to put it in and knead it for a further 4 minutes after we get this oil all worked in, and that will smooth this dough out, and then we'll rest it for 40 minutes while we make the filling. So there we go. That's all worked in. We're going to knead this for another 4 minutes. Try and get it right nice in the center down there. Let's not get oil all over the mixer, shall we? Have some think ahead. Get some paper towels ready for you, or a towel, whatever, or dishcloth, whatever you want to do. Dishcloth, don't do that. But have them ready so you don't have to pull it off the roll and get greasy fingers all over the roll before you get a chance to wipe everything off. Wipe off your counter too. Okay, and then we'll close that on it, and we'll give that another 4 minutes. At, medium. Okay, now what we're going to do with the dough? Nothing. We're going to let that rest for 40 minutes. Remember that flour bowl from before? We're going to bring that back. So here's the first place where we deviate. Akino-san says she puts the sauce, spices, and the meat together and puts the cheese on top. I tried that. I'm not as good in the kitchen as Akino-san is, and the cheese fell all over the place. It was really awkward. I couldn't get them to seal up. So what we're going to do instead is we're going to mix the sauce and the meat and the spices, and then we're going to put the cheese in. We're going to mix it all together in one cheesy, mixy goodness. We're going to take the meat. Let's get 100 grams of ground pork, which again, that does not seem like a lot. If we put 100 grams of the ground pork, the spices, 100 grams of the sauce, and 100 grams of cheese, and mix it all together, we have 300 grams. And if we then put 30 grams of this mix into each bun, then we get 10 buns. So just add it a little bit at a time. You'll see cooks do this the world over on recipes all the time. Don't just dump one ingredient into the other. It's always you add it a bit at a time so you can get it to fully combine. Luckily, I have the spatula we used for scraping down before. We can use that to get this into there. Use it all up. Don't want to waste any. And mix that in. And as I said, this is the part where Akino-san would say, this is good. And we do those two things separately. And it doesn't work for me. It just the cheese falls out. It makes it really difficult to do. Again, I don't have her skill at folding steam buns. So now we're going to just start tossing the cheese in and mix that through. We're just going to add it again, a little bit at a time, and combine it all together. But you could choose instead to use 100 grams of a curry sauce and maybe like a cheddar mozzarella blend. So there we go. That is the filling. 300 grams of the cheese and tomato sauce and ground pork mixed together. We're going to let that rest for another 35 minutes, and then we're going to come back and start doing the combining. So it's been 40 minutes. I put the dough into some plastic stuff just because it wants to be covered for the time. So that's how the dough has turned out. It's got the nice and bouncy. Yeah, it's the yeast and the baking powder has puffed up. It's great. So we're going to go to 40 gram balls, which is less than you think in size. That's 46 still. 43, 35, 38, 41 and a half, close enough. So you see, it's a fairly small amount that you need. That's pretty close. 45, pretty close. 40.6, that's good enough. 10 balls, 40 grams a piece. Okay, we're gonna Set that aside, move that aside. So, here's another way we're going to deviate. Akino-san, when she does hers, she flattens them out, she rolls them with more weight in the middle. Like she'll leave the middle thicker than the edges. I tried that. The way I make them, it didn't seem to make much difference. So we're just trying to roll them out fairly big. Give yourself every advantage. Make them nice and big. Okay, here we go. We're going to take that. I'm going to put it on the scale. 40.8. Pretty good, pretty good. And I'm going to grab the first layer of my steamer. Right there. Get the rolling pin out of the way. Move this back, move this closer. So what we're going to do here is 30 grams of the meat cheese mixture. 29. Darn, you're pretty good at that. 31. Close enough. Okay, so Akino-san, she takes it and she goes floop, 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 and it's got this perfect peak on it. I can't do that. Again, like I said, we mix the cheese in rather than putting it on top. So I'm going to show you the easy way. Okay. Take this side and this side. Just grab opposites, pinch them together. Then grab these opposite and pinch them together. So we got 4 like that. Then grab that, pinch it in, grab that, pinch it in. There. And we're just going to pinch that tight like that. And there you go. That's all there is to it. And we're going to do 9 more times that. So all the filling that is left is going on there. There we go. You want to know what I'm doing there? I'm cleaning as I work because it is so much easier than trying to deal with your mess afterwards. So I hope that method, those 2 changes to the original one, don't bother Akino-san too much if she watches this, and that if you're watching and wanted to try this and thought it was difficult, hopefully that makes the parts that I found difficult a little easier. So we're going to take this cover, put it on there. They're going to rest like that for 20 minutes. We're just going to leave them right here on the counter. Now, we're going to steam them. It takes a while to get steam up. So while these are going to rest for 20 minutes, we're going to come over here, and we're going to turn this on to between 6 and 7. We want that to get a good steam. We're just going to leave that going. Not going to put a lid on or anything. We're just going to leave that there, this separate from it. So this is one thing you want to make sure of when you get your steamer. Make sure that you get one that fits the pot you have for underneath. It should cover the whole thing. This is like just exactly right. They come in different sizes, so make sure you get the right size one. Anyway, we'll be back in 20 minutes to put them on the steamer. As you see, the steam is a steaming, which is what we need. And we'll take a look at these. They have been resting. They've gotten a little bit bigger, but not a lot bigger. But they're ready to go. This is going to be a short section because we just take this from over here. I'll walk over to here. And we're going to put them carefully on there. And that's literally it. It's going to sit there and we're going to steam them, like so, for 15 minutes. So we're going to turn off this. We're going to take these off. Get yourself some oven gloves. Don't just lift it off. Steam is hot, in case you didn't know. And now we're not going to open these right away. We're going to take this off the steam, like so. I'm going to bring this over to the counter. And we're just going to crack the tops. So let the steam escape. And that's all. So if we take a look at them now, see they've plumped up. They did tend to sag down a little bit, but they have plumped up. You know, this particular steamer has a metal ring. The metal will be hot. So be careful. Or you could just wait for these to cool a little bit and not be impatient. Like I'm being right here. Just getting them in here. And there we go. Here. I'll bring it over. Have a good look here. Just in case. I don't know who's going to get the good look. But there you go. Those are steamed buns, pizza man style. Easy to do. I showed you a couple easier ways than the original recipe, but as I've said many times, all credit for this recipe, original recipe, goes to Kitchen Princess Bamboo's channel. Go check our channel out if you haven't already. Akino-san, arigatou gozaimasu. And that's all there is to it. It's really not that difficult. So if you're thinking, hey, I would like to try that, well, now you know how. So thank you for watching, and we will see you for another recipe another time.